Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a quick process video for you today. I am going to be creating an ephemera holder similar to this one that I did for some printables from the Junk Journal Studio. But this time I'm doing it for some postage stamps. I've gotten quite a collection of these over time, and I need a better way to organize them. So I have this little box. I thought it would be the perfect size for these postage stamps. I'm using this 12 by 12 paper from Stamperia, and I'm just going to trim down this little box. I just opened it up flat, and then all the little side pieces are I just trimmed off with my trimmer, cut great through my Tim Holtz trimmer. And this is just going to be a real simple way to cover this. If you've seen me do this on my channel before, I'll try to remember to link the video of the other ephemera holder that I did. You can see here, I'm fighting with this just a little bit because I got a bubble in my double-sided adhesive, and I didn't want to have a wrinkle in the paper. I was actually surprised that that worked, that I was able to straighten that out, but it did. So I just covered the entire cover with this double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com, and I am just going to pull back the release paper just a little bit on each one of the release papers, basically. And then I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to kind of use those kind of wings from the release paper to get this in the exact right place, and then I'll push it down, and then I can pull the rest of the release papers. This just helps kind of get you so that you can align everything, because that tape is super, super sticky. So if you drop it or whatever, it's going to stay stuck. So I'm using my trimmer here along the bottom just to try to trim that up, and that way I can have kind of, equal distance all the way around. But because this paper is so thick, I'm going to go around this with my bone folder here, and I am just kind of scoring it basically all the way around. That's going to help it fold a little bit better, and it's going to decrease my chance of cracking the paper. So I'm just cutting these corners out here, some little like V shapes, just to cut some of the bulk out of these corners. If you've seen me wrap a cover, you've seen me do this a million times. And then I am going to use this double-sided adhesive. Again, of course, you can cover your cover in whatever you want to. I just found doing this for this project, it was really easy just doing it with the scrapbook paper. So I'm going to start with the short side of this cover here. Whenever you're covering a journal, you always want to do opposite sides. So if you're going to do, I'm going to do the short side here on the right, then I'll do the short side on the left. It just gives you the best look for those mitered corners. So I'm going to flip it around and do this other side. And I'm just being very careful with using my bone folder and everything to try and make sure that this paper doesn't crack as it wraps around, because like I said, it's pretty sturdy paper. So you can kind of see I'm just kind of gently pushing it around, and then making sure to press it down really well with my bone folder. And then along the bottom, I like to, whenever I can, kind of roll it up, or it just gets a tighter wrap for the corner. So you can kind of see I'm rolling it kind of up on itself and then pressing it down. And then I'm just going to go over this again with my bone folder, just making sure that everything is nice and secure. I'm going to go around the spine part here with my bone folder, and I really kind of have to work this spine just a little bit. And again, this is just to make sure that that paper doesn't crack on the spine. So just kind of easing it, trying to help kind of break the fibers a little bit. And then I went back and forth about covering the inside, how I wanted to do that. And I decided for the sake of just making sure this was going to fold easy, because that paper is pretty thick, I'm going to use gaffer tape on the inside instead of using more scrapbook paper, just to try to eliminate some of the bulk. This is a flexible tape. It's like a cloth tape. You can buy bookbinders tape, and that's what this would be the equivalent of, but this is just, it's called gaffer tape. It's actually like an audio thing, but it's a little bit cheaper, and it's basically the exact same thing. So it's just like a fabric tape, and it will be nice and secure, but it's a little bit more flexible than if I was to try to cover that intersection with another piece of paper. So I have this Tim Holtz backdrop, and I cut that down to size, and these are going to be the inner papers of my little book here. And I just went through and did that same process. I cut them down to size. I covered them in this double-sided adhesive, and then I'm going to create again a little kind of wing or handle to hold on to so that I can get this in place without it gluing down before I'm really ready. And then I'll just pull out the rest of the release paper, and then I'll do the same exact thing for the other side. So no need to make you watch me do all of that. And then I will go back through and again burnish this down just to make sure everything's nice and secure. And you can see kind of how that black looks on the inside. I think that looked pretty good with that paper that I have chosen. And so what I decided to use for my inside papers is some old book paper. So these came in my A House of Books subscription, one of the kits from the past, and it's been in my stash, and I felt like it was just a good way to kind of use this. These papers are a little bit thinner, and so I just felt like it would be something interesting. Especially I kind of wanted a neutral type background so that all of the postage stamps and stuff that I'm going to be putting in there will kind of stand out and I can see them. And so you could see me, I'm just trimming it down, just kind of eyeballing it as I go, making sure that these are going to fit in my little journal there. I did cut them a little bit shorter than I would have wanted originally, but it will work just fine. So I cut them down, I'm folded them all in half, and now I'm going to kind of tuck them all into one signature. I was thinking originally that I was just going to sew this in as one signature, and then I decided that that's not really what I wanted to do. So I'm going to kind of do the same way that I did the other ephemera holder, in that I'm going to use a twine binding, and I'm going to leave my signatures basically free so that I can add to them if I need to. I can, if one of the pages happens to rip or tear or something, I can replace it super easy. So I'm taking some embroidery floss here in this kind of dark teal color. It's hard to see on the paper, but this is actually one of the fountain pens is this color. But and I just start with a tail on the outside that's long, wrap it around for how many signatures. In this case, I'm doing 4, and then come up from the bottom. And then you cross them over each other, and then that one on the left you slide underneath, and then you tie a knot, and it will kind of hold everything together. I know that was a super fast explanation. I do have other videos showing how to do this twine binding technique for journals, so I will put my journal playlist as well. This is not something I came up with. I can't even remember where I learned it, but it's just a good technique for this. This is kind of how I did my Advent journal for December as well. But I am just going to slide these little signatures. There's, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 sheets of paper in each signature, but it's going to work perfectly. And then, like I said, if I need to add more later, I can into each one of those signatures, or if one of them tears or something, then I can always just take out that one and replace it. So it just felt like for the way that I'm going to be using this journal, it just felt like the best kind of solution. So I have this big sheet of vellum. This is a 12 by 12 sheet of vellum. I'm just going to cut down. So my pages ended up being about 4 inches when they were folded. So I'm cutting this down to about 3 3/4 inches. So they'll be 3 3/4 wide. Of course, if you were to make this just whatever size you make it, and then I'm taking out some of these stamps that I have just to try to get an idea for how tall they are and how much width I need or height I need on my little pockets that I'm going to be creating. So some of these I cut down at like 1 inch, and then some I did at 1 1/4 inches, I think. And so for those taller ones, I wanted to be able to make sure that they would stay secure in the little pockets, but also so that they're easy to grab. So I'm not trying to like dig into the pocket to pull them out. I wanted them to be able to stick up out of the top, and then keeping in mind that when you glue it, you lose some of your, real estate there. So I'm going to show you, this is like a bigger pocket down here at the bottom, and I'm able to get 3 rows on here. So I'm just going around with a very light touch and some art glitter glue just around the 3 edges. And then I'm leaving myself a little bit of space because I'm going to do the taller ones down at the bottom, and then I'll do 2 of the smaller ones up at the top. And I'm not going to make you watch me do this for this full journal, but you can kind of get the idea. So I did that middle pocket, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one up at the top, just making sure to leave myself a little space from the top of the paper so that my stamps aren't hanging off of the top there. And it's okay if they kind of overlap the pocket on top of it, if that makes sense. So I will show you. I'm going to add just a few of these stamps in here so you can kind of get an idea for how this will look and function when it's done. But this gives it so I have space for some of those tall, long ones, some of the wider ones, and then the little short ones also will be secure but still accessible in there. So that is pretty much it for this video. I won't make you watch me fill all of these pages. I'm actually going to go through and organize and sort them probably by color and size, just to make it easier for when I'm looking for something specific. But this is how my little journal ended up. So if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.